Time for Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show. Along with Don, I'm Sal. Hello, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Don. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been a busy week. We're kind of doing an open format today. We kind of just want to catch up. Don, I haven't talked to you in a very long time. It's been very busy as the weather turns warm. What have you been up to lately?
Well, I guess a lot of my focus has been putting plugs in the hole in the boat, right? So the hole in the boat is, the underabundance of money coming in and the
Wait, you have
overabundance of
holes
it.
in your boat?
Listen to my analogy.
Okay.
so, so
I've
for
been invited on
instance,
this boat. I'm a little
for
nervous.
instance, there's water coming in,
Yeah.
and you got to keep it from coming in, and you got to get it out. So it's kind of like um, economic times in business and everything else, personal business, between the inflation, things have gone up. Okay. The amount of money that's coming in could be the same, could be less, but it's worth less. And it creates more difficulties because you have to keep your eye on. See, I never had to really pay attention to financial stuff, and I just started having to today. As a matter of fact, for the last 3 months. But what I noticed is a lot of my focus has been on this whole technology thing. And the problem I have is like banking, right? So banking,
Oh, don't get me started with
okay,
banking.
yeah. So I got to
Yeah.
deal with that today. So not enough money in one account, so you transfer it for another account. Well,
Yeah, that's my problem, too.
my secretary does that, and
Oh, well,
then
mine
she says,
doesn't.
"Oh, they send you two factor verification." And I said, "I never got it."
Yeah.
Anyways, so by that time it's too late. But at the end of the night, so I call her and we talk, and and it turns out that there was no two factor verification that was done. So then she had to log in, and then she changed the number, and then blah 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 blah. Well, so it said it changed the number, and then finally it said, okay, we made the transfer. Well, then I go into the email about a half hour later. I'm eating breakfast, and this is Saturday, right? And I'm eating breakfast, and I look at it, and I'm like, the transfer was canceled. So it's like, so my problem is not just that all these updates and all these changes with this computer and uh, um, artificial intelligence, whatever the hell's going on. But my problem is right away I go, is the accounts hacked, right? And she goes, oh, you
Oh,
always think that, you always think
that's
that,
what
you always think
everybody
that.
thinks, of course.
And I said, well, I don't trust a lot of these systems. And she goes, well, maybe I'm too trusting. Well, it's the same thing in anything. It's the same thing in banking. It's the same thing in your crypto exchanges. It's the same thing with your real estate. I mean, people could change the title of your house and say that they own your house, and like
Yeah.
they could sift all your cryptocurrency out of your
Your
account,
accounts.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could trick somehow. Artificial intelligence can get worm into your bank account. So the bottom line is, even when you do things the right way, are you truly secure? And there's no answer because nobody's there to answer the phone. Nobody
I think
really
it's all too
knows.
new, also. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in charge of this stuff that I don't think they really know what they're doing.
Exactly. Like if you go around and you talk to people right now, and sorry, people, but most people probably couldn't tell you what their name is. They're just walking around in a freaking cloud. They don't know. Like, or they think they're sophisticated and educated, and they give you some bullshit like explanation why it's happening, right? But they
Yeah.
don't even understand what the hell they're talking about. But it sounds real good because they use real big vocabulary words and stuff like that. So I think that people don't really understand what the hell they're talking about. And if they do, sometimes the connection with the communication doesn't work either. So let's just say the guy does know, right? And he explains it above your head. You're not going to understand what the hell he's talking about. So the problem that I'm having right now is everything is grown leaps and bounds every day. If you don't learn something today, you're behind, and tomorrow that information is now
You have to
irrelevant.
keep up. You have to keep up, especially with tech. You
But
have
the
to keep up.
speed is like lightning speed. Like how many words per second can you read? Because you're gonna be left behind. And so I'm kind of going back to my old mantra, like maybe ignorance is bliss. Maybe that's the best way to go. Just walk around with your head up your ass and you're fine. I don't really know because the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Well, a lot of people say, I wish I can go back to the old days when things were much simpler. But when you think of that, and I've had this discussion with people, yeah, the old days things were simpler. I mean, I remember when we first got pagers. It was just like, well, if you need to get a hold of me, just page me, and then you try to find the phone. But then again, you know, payphones were available. Maybe things were simpler, but when you think about the things that we have now, what we could do, I mean, if you think about just the phone, I mean, it's your video camera, it's your radio, it's your
Banking,
TV, it's your banking, it's
it's
your
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 information source, your
shopping. I mean, it's
newspaper.
everything wrapped
Yes.
into one. So was it easier back then? I don't know. I'm a tech person. I love tech, but I will tell you, it is flying. I mean, I have to look at this stuff on a daily basis, or else, like you said, like when you drive a car off the lot, it's went down in value. And it's same thing with tech. You skip a day or a week and you're way behind. And AI is moving so fast. But my question to you, Don, let's circle back. What does this have to do with the holes in your boat?
All right. What I'm saying is the water's coming in, right? The water's coming in.
Yes,
Are you able to
got
get it
that.
out before you sink? Okay. Are you
Okay.
able to plug those holes so you can scoop out faster than it's coming in? It's an analogy. Holes in the
The
boat.
analogy. So your boat really doesn't have holes, because I was hoping this
Probably
summer
one of
to.
them does. I don't know.
Do I need
I
to
gotta look.
bring like
I
great
gotta look at
foam
the.
or the great stuff with if I come on your boat this summer?
Oh
I'm a
my
little
god.
worried now.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just wear life jackets. If it goes down, we just swim back. But
Well,
you know
okay.
what's funny about this whole the 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 thought process that we're talking about, it's in everything. Okay, it's in cars, right? Cars, right? I'm old school. I used to race stock cars. I know how to drive cars. I know how to fix cars. I know how to put
Did you ever go to
motors and
the
do all this
Oswego
shit.
Dragway?
No, never went to that one. Santa Fe was the one I went to. Anyways, so but now I go and all my cars are older. I keep them and I put a ton of miles on them. They still look brand new and drive brand new, but I don't have the newer cars. And so all these newer cars, I go if I travel and I rent a car, right? I drove around through LA for a week and I didn't realize that I didn't have the lights on because the dash lights were on and the headlights were on, but it didn't mean that the lights were on. It was really weird. So I'm driving. I'm a very aggressive driver, right? So I'm
No,
coming.
you don't seem that type.
No, not at all. And I don't flip anybody off. I just if I got to
No.
get somewhere, I get somewhere. I go to move in between a couple of cars. Well, all of a sudden the wheel jerks back and the brakes hit. And I almost make a crash where it would have been a nice smooth transition in between a couple of cars. And so then you learn it's got driver assist. Okay. Well, how the hell do you turn that shit off? Okay. Or or I'll give you another instance. So let's say you're at a traffic light and there's a bunch of people in the left lane and you want to hit the right lane. It's kind of like the shotgun lane, but you got parked car ahead after the light. So you got to blast it
Oh,
in front of the guy in front of you, right? And you're
yeah.
in a rental car, right? Well, these rental cars, these new cars, the engine turns off when you're stopped. Okay.
Oh, I
So now
hate
you
that.
punch it. Now you punch it, right? It's
It's
got to
gotta start.
start.
Yeah.
And by the time it gets rolling, right, you're not going to make it in front of that car that you're trying to pass. So, like,
No.
potentially put you in an accident because they want to. I don't know. Is it emissions? Did Biden come up with? You got to have the car stopped because the emissions, because the
It
poles
was the
are
whole it was the
melting
whole
and
gas
global
thing.
warming, or is it
Remember
fuel? Or
Amazon UPS drivers were told to shut off their vehicles when they deliver a package? I think they still do it,
if it
except for
doesn't start?
Amazon
What if it doesn't
are
start?
electric. Yeah, Amazon has electric trucks, I believe, so that's not a big
Yeah.
deal. But remember the whole gas thing, and that's when they put that stupid crap in, where the cars.
Right.
I can't stand that. I
So
hate that.
so we blame it on this time, but actually all this shit's been going on for a long, 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 long time. So even like back in the late '70s, early '80s, when they had the oil shortage or whatever,
Yeah,
whatever happened back then.
Carter
Well,
days.
they
Yeah.
started making these cars, right? That got like 40 miles a gallon, right? No problem.
Hmm.
And as time went on, technology should have taken over where the average car should get 50 to 100 miles per gallon. But now we got hybrids, right? Hybrids
Yeah.
that don't even get that kind of gas mileage. And so it's like, how have we regressed? Because they put all this pollution control on because they say a global warming and all this other bullshit. As a matter of fact, if there is global warming, bring it because I want to be hot. I want to wear a bathing suit and slides all day. So bring on the global
Well, I think
warming if
it's more
that's
the
the case.
water, the
Oh,
ocean
bullshit.
levels. That's
Oh,
what they say, you know.
yeah. So
I'm not saying
use
I
less
believe in
hairspray
that.
and drive an electric car, and you're going to save things. Whatever, you can't use the gas stoves, but so
Yeah,
it's kind
right.
of the whole thing's kind of interesting because like it's information that you can't get your arms around because it's not actual information and or data. And it reminds me, you talked about the first pager or whatever. Back in I want to say it was maybe '89. I
Okay.
invented the first pager watch. Okay. And guess
Pager
what?
watch.
Pager watch. It's before mobile phones.
I don't know this about you. Interesting.
Yeah, but don't get ahead of yourself here. But
Well, obviously I never got a pager watch, so
no, 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 no. So anyways, I was like, well, if you have a pager, and you have it as a watch, right? That would make sense. You can just lift up your arm and you can whatever. Anyways, I hired this company because I don't know what do I know about inventing or producing or doing any of this stuff. So there was a corporation back in the day. It was called Invention Submission Corporation. I
was it yours?
no, no, it
Oh.
wasn't my company. I was a
Oh.
company that would help you with that. So they
Oh, okay.
take the information, you pay them all this money, and what happens? Nothing, right? Nothing happens. Made zero
Really?
money. It cost me a ton of money to do. I had to do all these patents and stuff. Well, lo and behold, right? What do we have now? We have an Apple Watch, which obviously we went from pagers to cell phones, but now cell phones are watches, right? So the initial concept, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying that I put it into something that I thought would help me succeed. And all it did was sift money from me, right? It's information that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of reminds me of like the cybersecurity threats where they're just stealing money and identities and they're just screwing people over. And it's that unknown information that we can't get our arms around because we don't know. It's information that's in the air that how are we supposed to grasp it? So that's what kind of drives me a little insane with all this AI shit. And now they're going to have all the um, communication up in space. I mean, how are you? Who's going to be accountable? What are you going to do? Like drive your rocket up there to talk to customer support? Like what do you like?
Well, I think there's already a lot of stuff that's up in space and stuff that we use. I mean, look at satellite TV in the early 90s. We were capitalizing on space and satellites. But I want to get back to this pager watch, this beeper watch
Yeah,
of yours,
yeah.
because you want to know what's funny is before I had the Apple Watch
Hmm.
and going to the gym, I had a couple versions of the Fitbit, which, did a few things for your heart rate and stuff.
Right.
But the main thing of that, one of the big selling points was that if I had not so much a text, but a phone call, I could see it on my wrist, which was really nice. Obviously then the Apple Watch came and changed everything, but it sounds like what you had going on there, your thoughts was very similar to a Fitbit in a sense, because it was an electronic device that if anybody's calling us or sending a text, we could see that we have the notification on our wrist.
Right,
So
right.
it's a
I
great
mean,
idea.
it wasn't like high tech. It's not measuring heartbeats. It's not doing anything except basically putting the pager into a watch that you wear
Yeah.
on your wrist. So it's basically putting a pager with a wristband and putting it around your arm. It wasn't like super high tech. It was just the initial idea of it.
So it
And
wouldn't transmit, like you wouldn't have to carry the pager on you and
no,
the watch. It would take the place of the pager.
right. It would basically be the pager
Oh, that's interesting. And
inside the watch. And this is before we had the cell phones. And the cool thing back in the day was they had pagers that had voicemails on it, and I thought I was so slick,
yeah,
right?
fire
So,
department guys
so,
always had that.
so
Yeah.
people that didn't like for business,
Hmm.
or if you want to give somebody your telephone number, but you don't want to give them your telephone number, you give them the pager number, and they get a voicemail, and they think they're calling the phone, right? So, and you get a beep that says that there's a voicemail. So it'd be no different than having a phone, kind of, except they couldn't call you direct. So it was. I mean, back in the day, it was the pagers were pretty cool. Um, but obviously the phones came into play, and now the phone, like you say, the phone is the end all be all, right? You could drop you off in the woods as long as you got satellite connection or internet connection. I mean,
Well,
you can, you know,
and they have satellite connections
right,
too.
and
Apple does.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I mean, these phones, but as good as these devices are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they do? Are we controlled by them? Right? Can they
God,
sift
yeah,
our
definitely.
money? Can they sift our
You know what?
identity? Can they break
Go
you?
to go to any doctor office. I went to the dentist last week and everybody's sitting in there. The magazines are sitting there collecting dust. What's everybody doing, including myself? We're all on our phones. We're looking.
Uh,
You know what? You're in the dental chair, and they, do something. They say, okay, we're going to give you a few minutes for the Novocaine to set in. What's the first thing you do? I pull out my phone. I start looking. Did I miss anything? What's going on? So they definitely control our life. But the question is, do you think they make our life easier or is it more stressful?
I
And
think
do
we're
you
too.
tie this to social media as well?
Yeah, I think what the problem is we're too well connected. Years ago,
Yeah,
right? I first started my
dependent.
business, right? The
Yeah.
phone rang, somebody answered the phone, it meant the business was closed, right? Either you call back at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., whatever time you open, and if you call past 5, no one's answering the phone. That was the original. Then they came out with the answer machine, right? Then the answer machine, then you put it on there, you could leave a message, we'll call you the next
That
day.
thing was genius.
Right, the answer machine, right? And then
Yeah.
and then we went from that. Then we went to and then if you're on the phone and you're it's busy, right?
Oh,
It means somebody else is talking to the guy
I
you
don't
want to
even know if
talk to.
kids these days would know what that sound
Hey,
is.
well, I'm showing my age here, right? But so you hear the noise, and the guy that you're trying to speak to is
Mhm.
currently busy talking to somebody else. You try and call back when it's not busy. I mean, these are all basic things. Then they had call waiting, and then they had
Oh,
voicemail, right? Then they had voicemail. So you call me, and then it goes directly to voicemail.
yeah.
And then they had cordless phone. Right? Then they had then they had the pager. Then they had the phone, the regular cell phone, a little flip phone that we call burner phones now. And now we got this basically Apple computer in our pocket with all this radiation and 5G working through our body, killing us, um, and controlling us. I mean, I'll go to do something, and people are like, "Well, I need your email address. I need your telephone number." I said, if it's a woman, I'd be like, "Why are we going to go out this weekend?" And they're like,
Only for
"No." I'm
30
like,
days, though.
yeah, exactly. No, but I'm
See what I
like,
did there? You see what I
exactly.
did there?
I did see. And so then I'd be like, why do you need my phone number? Like, like I just feel like it's such a breach of privacy.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Because your information is worth billions of dollars to
I
corporations.
mean, they want all this stuff. I mean, when I went last time I went to LA, I belong to LA Fitness, so I usually go there, but it was far and I didn't rent the car. I was just walking
Is that
wherever I
what
was
you're
going.
referencing when you say you went to LA? Because I had visions of you driving your rental car on the streets in Beverly Hills. So when you say you went to LA, are you talking about LA Fitness? Or are you talking about the city?
California.
Oh,
California.
okay. So I was right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
no, so you're not far off there. So anyways, Uh, so I decide, you know what? I'm not going to go all the way to the LA Fitness. There's just it looked like it was an expensive area, but expensive areas in California blow my mind because a lot of them are
Yeah.
really shitty and run down. So it's like it, it looks like an old drugstore that they turned into a fitness center. So I go in there, and it's only a block from where I was staying. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go in here. I go in there, and they're like, they give me some obscene amount. I got to buy a 5-day pass or a month pass for obscene amount. And it wasn't
Really?
even nice, right? The place
Just
wasn't
for a
even
week
nice.
pass?
Yeah, these guys are walking around with no shirts, all greased up.
How much? How
In the
much? Give me
bar.
an estimate. What was it for just a 5-day pass
Five day
to
pass was like 750.
holy cow.
Yeah, they want a month pass for like I don't know 3,500. I'm like, I wouldn't give you 3,500 for the whole store and everybody inside there. I mean, the place is a shithole. Anyways, So I go in there. So they go, well, you could just do a drop in workout, right? I said, what does that mean? They said, well, you could just pay us. I don't know. I think it was $40. $40, you come in and work out. I'm like, that's that's not a good deal. And forget that. This isn't even a good gym. I'm thinking I could do better workout at where I'm staying than this place. So, anyways,
Oh, yeah.
I just I get in. I take a Uber to LA Fitness and I do my workout. Well, the very last day, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just go right down here. I'll try this little shithole out. I go in there, two $20 bills. I hand it to the guy. I go, I'm doing a drop in, right? Guy goes, whoa, 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 whoa. I go, whoa, whoa, what? And he goes, you have to fill out this paperwork. I go, what? To lift weights? Like, oh, yeah, the liability and so I'm looking at it, phone number, email address, all the shit. And I'm like, I'm not giving these people my stuff, right? It's a little shithole. I don't know who these people are. I don't want to spread my information. So I put all bogus information on there. And then the guy goes, okay, well, you have to respond to the email. And I'm thinking, I didn't give him a good email address. I go, you know what, dude? I'm good. I took my 220s. I said, you have a great day. I'm like, how does this place stay in business? Who goes there? Like, but it's, highly liberal area. So they'll just follow whatever rules they got.
Oh,
And
they
when
want
I'm
to check your ID to go work out, but not to vote.
yeah, to go bench press, I gotta like show an ID. Like I was just like, you know what, peace, I'm out of here. And I didn't say anything mean, but like, you know what, after my encounter with my experience with your business, if you paid me $750 a month, I wouldn't come to this shithole. And like, it just kind of blows my mind. Like everybody wants, like, your firstborn to do anything, but
Oh,
I don't
that's
understand how they're
money.
making money.
Because they sell all your information to marketing firms that then send you the junk emails, the spam texts for business. Your information is worth a ton of money to corporations. So anytime you have to sign up for something and they want your email address or your phone number or whatever, they turn around and sell that information to companies that pay big money for your information. And they
You know,
use the algorithms of what you're doing. Depending on if you signed up for a gym and you put everything in there legit, as well as I do, you're going to start getting a lot of text messages and emails about working out in gyms and stuff like that. It's big money, you
but
know?
it's fun. That's another thing because I'm thinking about like simplifying everything. Right, I get too much stuff, whatever. But just make everything simple. And I was thinking about, I'm like, why wouldn't I just get new? I mean, I got like a bunch of cell phone numbers, anyways. But why wouldn't I just get a new cell phone number, right, and
Yeah,
change all my email addresses?
I'll tell you why.
Cancel the credit cards, get brand new ones. So there's no, when you join up for a subscription, if you want to see this, you got to do this, or Audible or this or that. And then next thing you know, you get the free trial. Next thing you know, you're getting charged every month, and then you go to cancel it, but they don't cancel it, and all this nonsense. I'm like, just cancel all the credit cards, get all fresh ones, change your cell phone number, change your email address, and that's it. Maybe every 6 months, change all that shit. I don't know. I think that we're
It's not a
too
bad cell
connected.
phone, though. You might inherit somebody else's problem with the cell phone. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had my cell phone number, I kid you not, since Nextel, and that was in 90,
Same
maybe
number?
94, 95. Yeah,
Wow.
when I had Nextel. And I remember when we first got Nextel, guys on the department, we had to get five. You couldn't just get one. You had to have a group of five, and the rep had to come out to the station, check everybody. You had to do a credit check and everything. The phones were like $1,000. And I remember the guy saying, he was holding up the phone and he says, just keep in mind, this is a computer. I was like, okay. And sometimes it needs to be rebooted. I remember thinking, wait, that's a computer now? Way ahead of their time. But yes, that information is valuable to other. Look at Google. Google has everything that's free. How do you think they pay? By people paying advertising and selling your information. So any software you get that's free, that information is worth money to the company, and they turn around and make the profit on you because their services are free.
Well,
So
and
that's what
it's
you get.
interesting how much control they have over you, right? All of these
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Whether it's a social media platform that kicks you off because you're not going along with their agenda, which goes along with what we talked about,
Yeah.
and or um, the other control thing is like Google, right? Google is how people find your business, right? And so
Yeah. And you
I
have to pay to be
right,
higher
and
up in the
so
results. Yeah.
I bought a another property, and um all of a sudden Google says they delist me and they say this isn't the correct address. You need to put the correct address. And I'm like, that is the address, but see, they're getting information that they don't think that you know about. They're getting information from somewhere else saying that you relocated. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know
Okay.
if they're connected with the county or the tax people or who, but so the bottom line is that everyone's got their thumb on you. And I think that a lot of the stuff that I'm reading, I think they're right. I think, property needs to be in land trust, everything needs to be in LLCs and trusts, so it doesn't come back to your name because they're keeping track of us. Everybody wants to know, you know, did I just use the toilet? Did I swear? Did I go to the liquor store? I mean, they're tracking you on Google. They're tracking you. You're tracking your emails. If you're in the house and you're talking about
This thing
garbage
tracks you. Yes.
garbage disposals. Next thing you know, you got emails and texts about the new garbage disposal that's out. It's absolutely ridiculous. So they got the phones, right? They got the cars that track you,
You
and
got
then
the voice assistants. Let's
they
not
got the
forget that.
voices. Yeah, they got so much stuff, and then all this intelligence now. Like you buy something, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, he bought four of these. Let's advertise the shit out of him. Or he bought another property. You know what I mean? Let's make them put this on Google. Like it's just they're trying to control us, and that's what bothers me. Is I like my freedom. You know what I mean?
Well, they are
And
controlling us, and you're right. Your information and where you go and everything is tracked.
because
Just that
honestly,
device in your pocket. Yeah.
I have like three different numbers. No, maybe, well, with the business, a lot more than that. But anyways, three personally and I'm thinking about just taking them all, put them on airplane mode, throw them in my safe, and carry a burner, and don't even have it on. Right? Don't even have it on, and that's my phone. And when I go back to my home. And if I want to turn on the phone and I want to look at some shit, that's fine. But carrying these things around and using them for navigation device and everything else, I think we're our own worst enemy. I think there's way too much tracking going on.
Well,
There's way
there
too much
certainly is.
surveillance.
No, there is, especially, us being Gen X. Growing up, we didn't have this stuff, like you said, till we had pagers. All of a sudden now your parents could reach you. Whereas before growing up, once you left the house, I mean, you were out,
Right.
and it wasn't a big deal. Now everything tracks you. But does it make it easier? Does it
I
make life easier for you?
I think it's a disconnection, right? It's disconnecting people, right, from their purpose or the culture, the land, right? Like you're supposed to be out and providing and gathering and being out in the sun and just disconnected from all this stuff. But we're so connected. I mean, a bomb blows up in Iran, and we know 3 seconds later. When I was in grade school, I probably didn't know who the president was. I didn't care. Like, who cares? I'm riding
No,
my bike.
we didn't care.
We're riding wheelies. Why do we care who's the president? And now everyone's so connected, including the kids, right? The
Yeah.
indoctrination process in the
Well, social
schools,
media,
the
part
social
of the
media and all this
connection.
stuff.
Right.
These
Yeah.
kids in kindergarten are telling you who should be president. Like, really? I
Well,
mean,
I think a lot of it is indoctrination from their teachers as well. I mean,
right,
these teachers had fourth graders going out protesting ICE a couple weeks ago. These kids don't know anything about this, but they're indoctrinating them at a young age. And you know what? It's setting them up for the universities because the majority, I mean, I'll even take a number and say 97% of professors on these major universities, especially private universities, they're all liberals. I mean, far left liberals. So, yeah, I mean, the kids nowadays, like we had said many times on this show, they get their news, they get all their information from TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. And who's putting that garbage out there? Uneducated people, mostly. and they buy it. They go
I
for it,
wouldn't say uneducated because I think the educated are the ones that are pushing most of this stuff.
Well, okay, you could say that. So they have a piece of paper,
If
which
you if
goes back
you
to
if you
another
went
show of ours.
if you went to the school of hard knocks and you just learn
Yeah,
from mistakes and living life, right? Paying
yeah,
attention to what's going on, you're probably going to be a pretty logical dude, right? But if you go to school and you got all these guys that's underwear's 4 sizes too small and they're speaking at a high pitched voice and they're telling you all this nonsense, that's that's how you're learning. So you got a guy that comes out of school that's highly educated. He's got plaques all over the wall, there, honor student there, and this and that degree and all this bullshit. And this
mhm,
guy doesn't know his head from his ass from the hole in the ground. And then
common
you got the
sense.
guy that's got even even some of these people that live in the ghetto that whether they're do crime or very low income jobs, okay? Some of
Yeah,
these people, and because you were the police, some of these people are so damn wise because they have to pay attention to what's going on. They know something's not right over there. Something's going to go down. This
yeah,
guy's no good. This guy's good. Like they learn from experience. Where you got these people that go to school and they're educated, they learn from these idiots that are teaching all this nonsense. And no
yeah.
offense, because I know that people in education, and so do I. But and they're not all like that. But I'd say a lot of them are. And
Especially college level. They're
oh,
terrible.
yeah, and so the more educated you are, I think um, the more likely you are to push out all this stuff. As a matter of fact, I was talking to somebody, I'm not going to say, and they are connected to somebody that does lobbying for the Democrat Party, and he gets paid $500 per post to say anything bad about the opponent that they're running against. So he gets 500 a post, and then he gets a stipend on top of the amount of views, right? But obviously, it's all shady shit. You got to get VPNs and all this other stuff. But like, it's like this is what the kids are learning, and they're learning it
Yeah, right.
on a record. I don't care about any of this stuff. You pick up your phone and you can't use it because something's updating. I don't want to update. Did I ask for an update? Get off my phone.
I
And
just
so,
had that this morning. My phone was down for about 25 minutes because of an update.
yeah,
Yeah.
like everyone's in control of us. We're not in control of it. So it's
No,
like
we've lost that. We're done.
so I don't know. I'm sure I'm you know out of my mind, but I think these phones really do need to go in a safe. You know what my mom used to say when my dad was fishing? I'd say, "Where's Dad?" She'd say, "He's fishing." "When's he coming home?" "When he's done fishing."
There you go.
That was it.
Yeah.
"Where's he at? Where's he fishing?" "I don't know."
Well, that's how it
And
was growing up for us. We didn't.
and then he got a cell phone, right? And something happened at the house, and my mom called him, and we all tried calling him, and whatever. Then he come home from
Yeah.
his fishing trip. "Hey, I got all these fish." You're like, "Yeah, we couldn't get a hold of you." He goes, "What do you mean?" "We called the cell phone." He goes, "Oh, that's been in my glove box. I haven't turned that thing on in 6 months."
Yeah.
He's
I
like, "What's going
remember
on?"
I remember people saying, "Cell phone? I don't need a cell phone. What do I need a cell phone for?" And now, I mean, everybody's so dependent on it, but
You get street people pushing shopping carts around that live under the viaduct that have cell phones, and now you have all the illegal immigrants that have cell phones. Like
well, they have quite a bit, but that's a topic for another show, my friend. Well, you know what, Don? I like this kind of just open format and talking. I think it's good. Hopefully the people will like it and we get some feedback on it just to see what's going on.
well, I think it's I mean when we talk, and this is your idea, so I think it's a good idea. But when we talk on the phone, you're like, why are we talking about all this stuff? We should put it on a show, and
Exactly.
because it's what you're thinking about, what you're reading, what you're seeing, and I think it's a great idea. And I think it's way better than following the news or whatever. It's an open format. Hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm not seeing. This is what I'm afraid of. This is and I think it's good because I think a lot of stuff runs through a lot of people's minds, and I think a lot of it's skewed by what they're watching, TV, social media, what they're listening to. I think You got to keep your thumb to the vibration, right? You got to know, you got to feel, you got to see, you got to
Just like tech.
experience.
Just like
Yeah,
tech. You got to know. You got to keep your finger on the pulse, or else you're going to lose it. And the same thing with everything. I mean, and I like this format. I think we're going to revisit it soon, maybe the next show, because there's a lot of things that happen in between. And that's what's so funny when Don calls me. We've both been busy for the last like month or so. It's just gotten crazy. And we go to talk the other day, and I said, Don, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk. And I think on the phone, he's probably like, wow, what a dick. But I'm like, no,
guy's
let's
a
save it for the
butthole.
show. Let's catch up on the show. This way, nothing gets watered down. And I think I hope it works. I hope people like it. I hope they let us know. Shoot us an email, make a comment. We're available everywhere. And, let us know how the format is. One thing I wanted to ask you before we wrap up, because I know we've gone over time. Have you ever seen a movie in IMAX? The real, real big screen.
I don't think so. Why? What's
You
up?
really should check that out, because I went last week, 2 weeks ago. I went to go see the Elvis movie, the new one, Epic, that just came out with they found like 40 hours of footage of him that was lost. And the movie was in IMAX, and it was absolutely spectacular. I mean, if you're somewhat of an Elvis fan, I recommend it. I don't know if it's in IMAX anymore. It's at the regular screen. But, Don, if you haven't seen a movie in IMAX, I'm telling you, I've seen a couple over my time, and they are wonderful. And that was just one thing I wanted to ask you the other day on the phone. But since I wasn't allowed to talk to you and you weren't allowed to talk
Those
to me, I
your
figured I'd ask
rules. Those
my
your
rule.
rules.
But we'll have to do another show like
Yeah,
this
sounds
probably
good.
soon.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, of course, I got to go through my notes here so I don't get yelled at. Obviously, we're on YouTube. Do us a favor, hit subscribe. Also, hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. You click the bell, and you let it, and we will let you know when another show drops. And if you want to contact us, our website is donhanstonshow.com. That's our website, donhanstonshow.com. It's been a while, Don, since I've read these. Our email, straight up donhanston at gmail. And our podcast is on Apple, Overcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Rumble, Amazon Audio. So we're available everywhere and on YouTube. So do us a favor, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and also let us know what you think and if you have any comments about what we talked about today. And what's your opinion on tech? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll probably answer it in the next show. Any last parting words, Don, before we end this thing?
No, before we make any determinations, you know what? Experience, feel it. Do a little bit of your own due diligence before you listen to what the media or anybody or teachers or anybody's trying to tell you. That's all I
I
got.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us for Straight Up the Don Hanston Show, and we will see you next time.
Have a great day.